Mary Kathleen Turner, born June 19, 1954, is an American actress. Known for her distinctive deep husky voice, she is the recipient of 2 Golden Globes, as well as nominations for an Academy Award, a Grammy, and 2 Tony Awards. After debuting both off and on Broadway in 1977, followed by her television debut as Nola Dancy Aldrich on the NBC soap opera The Doctors, 1978-1979, Turner rose to prominence with her portrayal of Mattie Walker in Body Heat, 1981, which brought her a reputation as a sex symbol. She worked solidly throughout the 1980s. In films such as The Man with Two Brains, 1983, Crimes of Passion, Romancing the Stone, both 1984, Prizzi's Honor, The Jewel of the Nile, both 1985, Switching Channels, The Accidental Tourist, both 1988, and The War of the Roses, 1989. For her portrayal of the title character in Peggy Sue Got Married, 1986, Turner was nominated for the 1987 Academy Award for Best Actress. Subsequent credits include V.I. Warshawski, 1991, Serial Mom, 1994, Baby Geniuses, The Virgin Suicides, both 1999, Beautiful 2000, Marley and Me 2008, and Dumb and Dumber 2014. Outside film, Turner guest starred as Sue Collini on Showtime's Californication, 2009, and Ros Volander on Netflix's The Kaminsky Method, 2019-2021. She also played Charles Bing, the drag queen father of Chandler Bing, on the 7th season of Friends, 2001. Turner's voice work includes Jessica Rabbit in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, 1988, and Constance in Monster House, 2006, as well as characters on television series such as The Simpsons, Family Guy, King of the Hill, and Rick and Morty. In addition to her work on stage and screen, Turner has taught acting classes at New York University. 4-5. Early life. Born June 19, 1954 in Springfield, Missouri, 6 to Patsy, née Maggie, 7, and Alan Richard Turner, a U.S. Foreign Service Officer 7, who grew up in China, where Turner's great-grandfather had been a Methodist missionary. Turner is the third of 4 children, and the only one to be born in the United States. She has a sister, Susan, and 2 brothers, 9, 10, 11. Raised in a strictly conservative Christian home, Turner's interest in performing was discouraged by both of her parents. "My father was of missionary stock," she later explained, "so theater and acting were just one step up from being a streetwalker, you know. So when I was performing in school, he would drive my mom there and sit in the car. She'd come out at intermissions and tell him, 'She's doing very well.'" Owing to her father's position with the Foreign Service, Turner grew up in Canada, Cuba, Venezuela, and London, England. 13. She attended high school at the American School in London. 14. Graduating in 1972. 9. "The start of real acting for me began during high school in London," she stated in her 2008 memoir. "There were 7 of us who were sort of a theater mafia. We produced, directed, acted, chose the plays, got one teacher fired and another one hired." Her father died of a coronary thrombosis 1 week before her graduation, 16-9, and the family returned to Springfield, Missouri. At the age of 19, Turner began volunteering at a local Planned Parenthood office. 4. She attended Southwest Missouri State University 17 for 2 years, studying theater. During this period, director Herbert Blau saw her performance in The House of Blue Leaves and invited her to spend her senior year at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County 18, where she received a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in 1977. 19. During that period, Turner acted in several productions directed by film and stage director Steve Yeager. 20. Career. Turner in 1999. Theater work and Broadway debut. In 1973, Turner spent the summer with her mother in Midland, Texas. There, at the Yucca Theater, Turner made history when she was cast as the first female villain in the Summer Mummers 1973 melodrama, Plodding Among the Planets. Several months after moving to New York City in 1977, Turner took over the female lead in Michael Zetta's play Mr. T, which co-starred Jonathan Frakes and played at Soho Repertory Theatre. That production marked her off-Broadway debut. Several months later, Turner made her Broadway debut as Judith Hastings in Gemini by Albert Innamorato, staged at the Little Theatre, now known as the Helen Hayes Theatre, and starring Danny Aiello. It opened May 21, 1977, during the time when she was appearing in the soap The Doctors. 21. Transition to TV and film. In 1978, Turner made her television debut in the NBC daytime soap The Doctors as the second Nola Dancy Aldrich. She made her film debut in 1981 as the ruthless Mattie Walker in the thriller Body Heat. The role brought her to international prominence. Empire cited the film in 1995 when it named her one of the 100 sexiest stars in film history. 22. The New York Times wrote in 2005 that, propelled by her jaw-dropping movie debut in Body Heat, she built a career on adventurousness and frank sexuality born of robust physicality. 12. Turner ultimately became one of the top box office draws and most sought-after actresses of the 1980s and early 1990s. Turner stated in 2018, "Body Heat was a blessing because I went straight to being a leading actor and I didn't have to suffer any of this predatory male behavior like many young actresses. It doesn't frustrate me that nearly 4 decades after that film, I'm still referred to as a sexual icon. I got over that a long time ago." Because of her deep, husky voice, Turner was often compared to a young Lauren Bacall. When the two met, Turner reportedly introduced herself by saying, "Hi, I'm the young you." Stardom. After Body Heat, Turner steered away from femme fatale roles to prevent typecasting, and because femme fatale roles had a shelf life. Consequently, her first project after this was the 1983 comedy The Man with Two Brains. Turner co-starred in Romancing the Stone with Michael Douglas and Danny DeVito. Film critic Pauline Kael wrote of her performance as writer Joan Wilder, "Turner knows how to use her dimples amusingly and how to dance like a woman who didn't know she could. Her star performance is exhilarating." Romancing the Stone was a surprise hit. She won a Golden Globe for her role in the film, and it became one of the top 10 grossing movies of 1984. 26. Turner teamed with Douglas and DeVito again the following year for its sequel, The Jewel of the Nile. Pre-production for the movie was fraught with conflict because Turner refused to commit to the terrible script she had been delivered. When she said no, 20th Century Fox threatened her with a $25 million breach of contract lawsuit. Eventually, Douglas, also the film's producer, agreed to undertake rewrites on the script to make it more acceptable to Turner, which led to much back and forth between the two as the script was retooled right up to when shooting started in Fez, Morocco. 27. Several months before Jewel, Turner starred in Prizzy's Honor with Jack Nicholson, winning a second Golden Globe Award, and later starred in Peggy Sue Got Married, which co-starred Nicolas Cage. For Peggy Sue, she received the award for Best Actress from the U.S. National Board of Review of Motion Pictures, 28, as well as an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. In 1988's Toon Noir Who Framed Roger Rabbit, she was the speaking voice of cartoon femme fatale Jessica Rabbit, intoning the famous line, "I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way." Her uncredited, sultry performance was acclaimed as the kind of sex-bot ballbreaker she was made for. 29. Amy Irving provided Jessica Rabbit's singing voice in the scene in which the character first appears in the movie. That same year, Turner also appeared in Switching Channels, which was a loose remake of the 1940 hit film His Girl Friday. This, in turn, was a loose remake of the Ben Hecht Charles MacArthur comedy The Front Page. 30. Turner was the subject of the 1986 song The Kiss of Kathleen Turner by Austrian technopop singer Falco. In 1989, Turner teamed with Douglas and DeVito for a third time in The War of the Roses, but this time as Douglas's disillusioned wife, with DeVito in the role of a divorce attorney who told their shared story. The New York Times praised the trio, saying that Mr. Douglas and Ms. Turner have never been more comfortable a team. Each of them is at his or her comic best when being as awful as both are required to be here. Kathleen Turner is evilly enchanting. 31. In that film, Turner played a former gymnast and, as in other roles, did many of her own stunts. She broke her nose 2 years later, filming 1991's V.I. Warshawski. 32-33. Slowed by rheumatoid arthritis. Turner remained an A-list film star leading lady in the early 1990s, starring in V.I. Warshawski and Undercover Blues, until rheumatoid arthritis seriously restricted her activities. She also blamed her age, stating, "When I was 40, the roles started slowing down. I started getting offers to play mothers and grandmothers." In 1992, during the filming of Serial Mom, she began experiencing inexplicable pains and fevers. 34, the rheumatoid arthritis diagnosis was made about a year later. By the time she was diagnosed, she could hardly turn her head or walk, and was told she would end up in a wheelchair. 12. Of this period, she has said, "My body could respond only with excruciating pain whenever I tried to move at all. The joints in my hands were so swollen, I couldn't hold a pen. Some days I couldn't hold a glass to get a drink of water. I couldn't pick up my child. My feet would blow up so badly that I couldn't get them into any kind of shoes, let alone walk on them." 35. Turner's appearance changed after the rheumatoid arthritis diagnosis. "The press were merciless," she states in her memoir. "They snipped that I had become fat and unrecognizable because I was an angry, washed-up diva, an out-of-control has-been, when in truth the changes in my physical appearance were caused by drugs and chemotherapy and were not within my control. Still, I did not reveal what was happening to me." 36. As her rheumatoid arthritis progressed, alcohol consumption became a problem. "I drank consciously at first to kill the pain. Later, after I got the new medicines and the pain began to subside, I kept drinking too much. It didn't damage my work, but it damaged me personally." 37. Turner has admitted that the drinking made her difficult to be around. 38. In 2005, an article in the New York Times stated, "Rumors began circulating that she was drinking too much." In her memoir, she said, "I went on letting others believe anything they wanted to about my behavior and physical changes. Many people bought the assumption that I'd turned into a heavy drinker. I couldn't publicly refute them because I believed it was worse to have people know that I had this terrible illness. They'd hire me if they thought I was a drunk because they could understand drinking, but they wouldn't hire me if I had a mysterious, scary illness they didn't understand. My agent, myself, felt it was imperative to keep my rheumatoid arthritis quiet." 37. Her career as a leading lady went into a steep decline, and she was seen in fewer and fewer very successful films. She turned down lead roles in Ghost and The Bridges of Madison County, both of which became big hits. She appeared in the low-budget House of Cards, as well as the comedy drama Moonlight and Valentino, and had supporting roles in A Simple Wish, The Real Blonde, and Sofia Coppola's The Virgin Suicides. She also provided the voice of Malibu Stacy's creator, Stacy Lovell, in the episode Lisa vs. Malibu Stacy on The Simpsons. Turner was originally cast as Zira in Disney's The Lion King II, Simba's Pride. Turner talked about the role and even sang a portion of her character's song, stating the film would be her singing debut, during an interview on The Rosie O'Donnell Show on March 10, 1998. 39. She was replaced by Suzanne Pleshette in the final film. Remission. Despite drug therapy to help her condition, the disease progressed for about 8 years. Then, thanks to newly available treatments, her rheumatoid arthritis went into remission. She was seen increasingly on television, including 3 episodes of Friends, where she appeared as Chandler Bing's father, a drag performer. In 2006, Turner guest-starred on FX's Nip Tuck, playing a phone sex operator in need of laryngeal surgery. She appeared in a small role in 2008's Marley and Me, and also played a defense attorney on Law and Order. In 2009, she played the role of Charlie Runkle's sexually hyperactive boss in Season 3 of the television series Californication. Turner starred in the indie film The Perfect Family in 2011 and had supporting roles in Nurse 3D 2013 and the comedy sequel Dumb and Dumber 2 in 2014. She appeared in 2 episodes of the Hulu series The Path 2016-17, starred in an episode of the anthology series Dolly Parton's Heartstrings 2019, and guest-starred on 2 episodes of the CBS comedy series Mom in 2020. On the Netflix dramedy series The Kominsky Method, Turner was a guest in Season 2, 2019, and became a main cast member in Season 3, 2021. The series reunited her with fellow actor Michael Douglas for the first time since the War of the Roses. Voice acting. Turner provided the voice of Jessica Rabbit in the 1988 live-action animated film Who Framed Roger Rabbit, its 3 animated short film spin-offs, and in the Disneyland attraction spin-off, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. In 2006, Turner voiced the character Constance in the animated film Monster House. Later, she provided radio commercial voiceovers for Lay's potato chips. BBC Radio 4 produced 4 radio dramas based on the V.I. Warshawski novels by Sara Paretsky. 2 of them, Killing Orders and Deadlock, released in 2007, featured Turner reprising her 1991 film role, which had been based on Paretsky's novel Deadlock. However, the final series, Bitter Medicine, released in 2009, had Sharon Gless take over the part. 40. In 2015, she narrated the anthology drama film Emily and Tim. Turner also had voice guest roles on the animated series King of the Hill, Family Guy, 3 Below, Tales of Arcadia, Rick and Morty, Summer Camp Island, and Wizards, Tales of Arcadia. Stage career. After 1990s roles in Broadway productions of Indiscretions and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, for which she earned a Tony Award nomination for Best Actress, Turner moved to London in 2000 to star in a stage version of The Graduate. The BBC reported that initially mediocre ticket sales for The Graduate went through the roof when it was announced that Turner, then aged 45, would appear naked on stage. While her performance as the seductive Mrs. Robinson was popular with audiences, with sustained high box office for the duration of Turner's run, she received mixed reviews from critics. 41. The play transferred to Broadway in 2002 to similar critical reaction. In 2005, Turner beat a score of other contenders, including Jessica Lange, Frances McDormand, and Bette Midler 12, for the role of Martha in a 2005 Broadway revival of Edward Albee's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf at the Longacre Theatre. Albee later explained to the New York Times that when Turner read for the part with her eventual co-star Bill Irwin, he heard an echo of the revelation that he had felt years ago when the parts were read by Uta Hagen and Arthur Hill. He added that Turner had a look of voluptuousness, a woman of appetites, yes, but a look of having suffered as well. 12. Ben Brantley praised Turner at length, writing, "As the man-eating Martha, Ms. Turner, a movie star whose previous theatre work has been variable, finally secures her berth as a first-rate, depth-probing stage actress. 80-50, this actress can look ravishing and ravaged by turns. In the second act, she is as predatorily sexy as she was in the movie Body Heat. But in the third and last act, she looks old, bereft, stripped of all erotic flourish. I didn't think I would ever be able to see Virginia Woolf again without thinking of Ms. Hagen, Uta Hagen. But watching Ms. Turner in that last act, fully clothed but more naked than she ever was in The Graduate, I didn't see the specter of Ms. Hagen. All I saw was Ms. Turner. No, let's be fair. All I saw was Martha, 42. As Martha, Turner received her second Tony Award nomination for Best Actress in a Play, losing to Cherry Jones. The production was transferred to London's Apollo Theatre in 2006. She starred in Sandra Ryan Hayward's one-woman show, Tallulah, which she toured across the US. In August 2010, Turner portrayed the role of Sister Jameson Connolly in Matthew Lombardo's drama High at Hartford Theatre Works. 43. The production transferred to Broadway at the Booth Theatre, where it opened in previews on March 25, 2011, officially on April 19, 2011, and an announced quick closing on April 24, 2011. 44. However, in a rare move, the production was revived, still headed by Turner, to undertake a national tour, which began in Boston in December 2012. 45. From August to October 28, 2012, Turner appeared in Red Hot Patriot, the kick-ass wit of Molly Ivins, a play about the legendary liberal Texas columnist Molly Ivins, at Arena Stage in Washington, D.C. 46. In December 2014 and January 2015, Turner performed the same show at Berkeley Repertory Theatre. 47. She appeared again at arena stage in the title role of Bertolt Brecht's mother Courage and Her Children, which opened in February 2014-48, and playing Joan Didion in the one-woman show The Year of Magical Thinking, based on Didion's memoir of the same name, in October and November 2016. 49. In February 2019, Turner made her debut at the Metropolitan Opera in New York City in the speaking role of the Duchess of Krakentorp in Dynasties' opera La Fille du Régiment. 50. Reception and public image. Turner was considered one of the most prominent sex symbols of the 1980s. 51. A designation largely attributed to her performance in Body Heat. 52. Turner worked to avoid being typecast in similar roles. 53. She described rage as a common theme running through most of her characters. 53. Her deep, husky voice is considered a trademark throughout her career. 54. Anne Lee of The Guardian described her as magnetic on screen, fierce, bold and sultry, with an impeccable sense of comic timing to match that oh-so-husky and commanding voice. 53. Personal life. Turner married real estate entrepreneur Jay Weiss of New York City in 1984, and they had one daughter, singer Rachel Ann Weiss, who was born on October 14, 1987. Turner and Weiss divorced in December 2007, but Turner has said, "JS still my best friend." By the late 1980s, Turner had acquired a reputation for being difficult, what the New York Times called a certifiable diva. She admitted that she had developed into not a very kind person, and actress Eileen Atkins, with whom she starred in the play Indiscretions on Broadway, referred to her as an amazing nightmare. 12. In 2018, she commented on her reputation, stating, "The difficult thing was pure gender crap. If a man comes on set and says, 'Here's how I see this being done,' people go, 'He's decisive.' If a woman does it, they say, 'Oh fuck, there she goes.'" 27. Turner has defended herself against Atkins' claims, saying that Atkins harbored animosity towards her because she was having trouble memorizing her lines, which Atkins found very unprofessional. Turner later realized that medication she was taking for her rheumatoid arthritis was making her fuzzy. She added that, on days when the rheumatoid arthritis in her wrist was especially bad, and she warned the other cast members not to touch it, Atkins would intentionally sit on it during a scene where Turner had to play dead, causing Turner extreme pain. 27. Speaking about the major differences between theater and film acting in terms of the dynamics between the individual and the collective. Performing arts scholar Octavian Seyu praised Turner for her great generosity as a veritable team player who finds herself more at home on stage for that reason. 56. Turner slammed Hollywood over the difference in the quality of roles offered to male actors and female actors as they age, calling the disparity a terrible double standard. A few weeks after leaving the production of the play The Graduate in November 2002, she was admitted into the J. Singer Marworth Treatment Center in Waverly, Pennsylvania, for the treatment of alcoholism. "I have no problem with alcohol when I'm working," she explained. "It's when I'm home alone that I can't control my drinking. I was going toward excess. I mean, really, I think I was losing my control over it, so it pulled me back." 12.